Hello, Matched Academic Mentors. This is a quick video tutorial to walk you through how to use ConexEd, our new attendance tracking system. I'm also going to be sending out a written guide about this, but I wanted to create a video too in case that's more helpful for some folks. So I am going to share my screen here and walk you through all the steps of creating your sessions and then logging attendance afterwards. So right here, we're in Firefox. When you go to the login URL, which is woostel.craniumcafe.com/login, you will find yourself on this page. There are two buttons. There's one for current students and staff and one for prospective students. All of you should log in to ConexEd using the current students and staff button because you already have accounts created that are tied to your Woostel credentials. Please do not use the guest registration button. Now, I'm about to use the guest registration button because I created a test account specifically to show you this program, but none of you should use the orange button. The orange button is dead to you. So we log in to ConexEd, and what you'll see here is our student support directory homepage. So we've got all of the Learning Center staff and then our academic skills coaching program, which will be running through ConexEd. Double check if this is your first time logging in that you are listed as faculty staff up here. If you're not, please shoot me an email because that means I need to upgrade your roles. So to give you all a little bit of background, ConexEd is primarily a video conferencing platform, kind of similar to Zoom. It does a lot of really cool things, but we're not going to be using all of them, at least not this semester. We're going to be using it primarily as a back-end option to record attendance. So to get us acclimated over here, we've got three main menus: Campus Calibrate, Cranium Cafe, and Classrooms over here on the left-hand side. As Matched Academic Mentors, you all do not have any use for the Cranium Cafe menu. Just ignore it. It's dead to you. The only two that you'll need to use are Classrooms and Campus Calibrate. So that's the ones with blue text in them, if that's helpful for you to remember. So after you have talked to your mentee to determine when you're going to be meeting and let me know what your meeting time is and created your sessions in Zoom, the next thing you'll want to do is log into ConexEd and come over here to Classrooms, Schedule Classroom Meeting. And this takes you to this screen, which is pretty straightforward. So you're going to put in the date and time of your first session. So for the purposes of this, we'll say you're going to be meeting on Sundays from 3 to 5 p.m. Double check that you're in Central Time here. We really encourage you all to operate on Central Time since you and your mentees are already going to be having to do that because you're taking classes. If you really want to set it as something else, I can't stop you, but please double and triple check your math. So you've got your date, your start time. You're going to come over here to the recurrence pattern box and set your weekly recurrence pattern on this day of the week from the date of your first session until the last week of classes, which is the week of December 14th. So for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to set this to recur for 1 week, but you would set it to recur until the week of December 14th. Then you're going to go over here and choose the associated group. And for most of you, match mentoring is going to be your only option. If you're in multiple programs, just make absolutely sure you hit the right one. So we hit match mentoring. We're going to get this error message that says you do not have permission to view users in this group. That's fine. All that's doing is telling you that you don't have the ability to create sessions on anyone else's behalf. So just hit OK. That's normal. And then you'll see that it populates with these reason codes, which are the different course codes. All of the ones for courses that we typically offer match mentoring for are already in here. But if you ever go to create a session and you don't see your course code, please let me know. We're going to make this a Chem 105 session. The only kind of wonky part about this is when you get down to meeting type, you don't want to select online, you want to select on campus and then Zoom as the meeting location. The reason you're doing that is because if you hit online, it will think that you want to use ConexEd's built-in video program. But when you hit on campus, it indicates that it's being hosted somewhere else, and so that'll cut down on the number of email notifications you'll get. You put in your meeting topic, which just like when we did Inside in Zoom, should contain the course name and your name somewhere. And then you'll put your Zoom link in the meeting description. I'm going to take those brackets out in case it does something weird. So once you've got everything set, You hit create meeting, and it's going to send you over here to your personal calendar, which for future reference you access by going to Campus Calibrate, Learning Center, Matched Academic Mentoring. So now if you need to edit or cancel a session, the way you do that is, or one of the ways you do that is you can go here and scroll down to that meeting, and you'll see down at the bottom there's a cancel button, which does exactly that, and then there's an edit classroom button, which is how you get in to change the time. So say you create it and you realize you did something wrong, or you need to change one of your session times slightly due to a schedule conflict. This is how you do that. The other way that you can access your course or your session information to change it is by going to Classrooms, Upcoming Classroom Meetings, and that gives you all of your individual meetings in this card form, and you'll see down here you have the option to edit or cancel. So that's how you set things up before your meetings take place. I do want to note that you can't currently cancel events that happened in the past. So if you realize you're going to need to cancel a session, if at all possible, please come in and cancel it before it's scheduled to start, because otherwise it's kind of a pain to get rid of it. But this is how you get set up before your meeting happens. So then your meeting happens, you log into Zoom, you meet with your mentee, and after that is over, you need to log back into ConexEd. You'll go to that personal calendar under Campus Calibrate, Learning Center, Matched Academic Mentoring. You go find the session that just happened, and you click on it, and it pulls up this pop-up, and the first thing you want to do is enter the actual start and end time. And that is what tells us that this meeting actually did take place. So regardless of whether or not your mentees showed up or if they ghosted on you, if you were there and you are getting paid for these hours, fill out this box. Unless your meeting started and ended at a wildly different time than what was scheduled, just put the times it was scheduled for. I don't care if your meeting technically started at 3:02 or 2:59, just put 3 to 5. And when you do that, you'll see that it saves up here and says meeting completed. So now that tells me that this meeting did in fact happen. Once you've done that, if anybody showed up, you go down to edit attendance, and you see here, there's your session. It says it actually happened. And you go to this meeting attendees box. And for some reason on all of my browsers, it doesn't like to show this box, but this blue box says add attendance. So you go up here and you type in the names or email addresses of everybody who attended. And as you can see, it pulls up everybody in the system, which will eventually be the whole WashU undergrad student body who has that search term in their name. So you do want to be really careful, especially if your mentees have common names, that you hit the right one. So I'm just going to add my administrator account for demonstration purposes here. And when you've got everybody added to this window, you hit add guests. It will refresh the page. Everybody's there now. If you realize you goofed up and added somebody who shouldn't have been there, it's easy enough to hit remove, and that takes them off. And that's it. That's all you need to do. So you set the actual start and end time to tell me that it did happen, and then you put in the names of anybody who showed up. And at that point, you are good to go until your next session. So I hope this is helpful to everybody. I'll be sending this out in conjunction with the written guide. If you have any questions about ConexEd, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to me. As I've been saying, we're all learning this new system together, so there are no silly questions, and I'd much rather you ask me than try to figure it out yourself, especially since there's so many programs and features in here that we're not currently using. So thank you for watching, and glad to have you all back for this very interesting fall semester.